So now what we will do, I will give you important areas from where mapping questions can be asked. ठीक है, हमने एक तैयार की है लिस्ट खुद से ही एनालिसिस करके लास्ट 20-30 साल के क्वेश्चंस जो भी हो गए, और ये आपको मैं आपको लिखवा के दे रहा हूं. सो यू राइट दिस ऑल दिस पॉइंट्स. ओके, फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल, सॉरी, हाँ हाँ, टेल मी.
In the previous test, in the Koppel's climate classification, in the India, there was one term CWG. Sir, I understood about the overall pattern, but sir, what is the particular meaning of the term G? Because G is nowhere in the classification and the sub-classification of the Koppel's climate.
हाँ, तो ठीक है, वो सबके लिए क्वेश्चन है. एक्चुअली सी द स्पेसिफिक Koppen has given specific terminologies for India's climatic classification. Okay, so even when he is classifying that in the C and then W, okay, winter dry, and thereafter he has given the grassland types for G. ठीक है, तो स्पेसिफिक जगह पे उन्होंने और ज्यादा टर्मिनोलॉजीज यूज किए हैं वहां पे. सो डोंट गेट कंफ्यूज, थोड़ा सा हमें मगअप भी करना है वो चीज, लोकेशंस उसके. यस. Okay, let us write down about world mapping part, world geography. So first of all, the physical aspects you can cover, and they are mountains, plateaus. Write down. Mountains, plateaus, when we are preparing for mountains and plateaus, what we are going to learn about them? Important peaks in those mountain ranges, important peaks of the mountain ranges, their alignment of mountain ranges, north, south, east, west alignment with respect to each other. North, south, east, west alignment. So for example, if you are preparing for let's say Rockies mountains, so north, south, or Andes mountain, north, south. Okay, likewise small mountain ranges in different continents we will prepare, तो उनका ओरिएंटेशन भी पता होना चाहिए, और बाकी माउंटेन रेंजेस के साथ में उनका हमें रिलेटिव एस्पेक्ट, नॉर्थ साउथ ओरिएंट डायरेक्शन वाइज. ओके, देन नेक्स्ट पार्ट, रिवर्स, रिवर बेसिन्स, river basins. When I say river basin, so the tributaries and all these things should be covered. Then next, deserts, important deserts, their locations. Simultaneously you should be locating them in which countries they are located. Rivers, through which countries the river is passing, वो भी आपको पता होना चाहिए. Important cities located on the rivers, वो भी आपको पता होना चाहिए. Important waterfalls located on the river, dams built across the river, अगर वहां पे दिख रहा है आपको तो.
सर ये जो इस तरह की क्वेश्चन पूछ लेते हैं यूपीएससी, जैसे सर 2020 में क्वेश्चन आया था कि चाइनीज को रिवर रिजर्व्स लैक जो रेनफॉल से जुड़ा ही नहीं.
आप आवाज नहीं आ रहा है
सर. आवाज?
हाँ, अभी बोलो.
सर जैसे 2020 में क्वेश्चन उन्होंने पूछा था कि वो रिवर कोर्स पूछा था, और वो इंडिया मिशन में फॉलो करती है कि नहीं, 3-4 रिवर्स दिया हुआ था. हाँ, मेरा क्वेश्चन तो सही हो गया था, बिकॉज मुझे 70% के अप्रॉक्स उसमें आइडिया था. लेकिन सर वैसे क्वेश्चन जैसे बहुत ज्यादा सेक्सुअल आ जाते हैं, ये पर्टिकुलर नॉलेज अगर नहीं है तो सर वो फिर डाउन होने लगता है. तो सर ये पूरा रिवर प्रिपेयर करने का एक मतलब कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव वे क्या है कि जैसे ऐसा प्रिपेयर करें कि जैसे रिवर बेसिन हमने प्रिपेयर कर लिया. सर इंडियन रिवर्स का तो जैसे रिवर बेसिन हमने प्रिपेयर कर लिया कि गोदावरी किस किस स्टेट में जा रही है. अगर वर्ल्ड की रिवर्स को देख रहे हैं तो उसमें सर एरिया वाइज अप्रोच फॉलो करेंगे या वहां की मेजर रिवर्स को फॉलो करेंगे या फिर मतलब
मैं बता रहा हूँ आपको कैसे पढ़ाई करनी है, मैं बता रहा हूँ, ठीक है. सो हाउ टू स्टडी दिस रिवर्स, फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल फ्रॉम ओरिजिन टू इट्स माउथ वेयर इट इज ड्रेनिंग. Okay, so location along the countries. UPSC has asked which of the following the countries through which this river flows. Also, it has asked the match the following last to last year the rivers and it is draining into which ocean. Okay. Also, the UPSC will ask about the tributaries of important rivers. See, UPSC will never ask small river. UPSC will always ask the important river of that continent. ठीक है, तो एकदम इंपॉर्टेंट रिवर होती है, बड़ी रिवर होती है, लाइक इरावदी एंड मेकोंग रिवर साउथ ईस्ट एशिया का बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट रिवर है और बहुत बार पहले भी यूपीएससी ने क्वेश्चन पूछा हुआ है. ओके, इफ यू आर टॉकिंग अबाउट यूके, थेम्स रिवर इज द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट, राइट. और इफ यू आर टॉकिंग अबाउट ऑस्ट्रेलिया, मुरे डार्लिंग रिवर्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. जो साउथ ईस्ट में जो बेसिन है ऑस्ट्रेलिया का, वो इन्हीं रिवर्स क्या है, ठीक है. सो इंपॉर्टेंट रिवर्स हमें ध्यान रखना है, छोटे छोटे रिवर्स नहीं ध्यान रखना है. ओके, फर्स्ट थिंग. सेकंड थिंग, वी ऑल्सो शुड अंडरस्टैंड हियर दैट यूपीसी विल नॉट स्पेसिफिकली आस्क ऑलवेज अबाउट रिवर्स. दे विल आस्क अबाउट what waterfall, the names of waterfalls they will ask about which across which river. Okay, so specific features that are located along these rivers, you should be knowing about them also. ठीक है, तो ऐसे हमें तैयार करना है. एंड ऑलवेज रिमेंबर मेन इंपॉर्टेंट रिवर्स ऑफ दैट कॉन्टिनेंट. ओके, सो व्हाट रिवर्स वे आर आस्क्ड बाय द यूपीसी, इरावदी, मेकोंग, ये रिवर्स है, या फिर हम मिसिसिपी रिवर जो है, या सेंट लॉरेंस वाटरवे इज देयर, नॉर्थ अमेरिका वी आर टॉकिंग. एंड इफ यू आर टॉकिंग अबाउट यूरोप, तो वहाँ पे डैन्यूब, राइन रिवर, और दे विल आस्क अबाउट वोल्गा रिवर के बारे में पूछा था लास्ट टू लास्ट ईयर 2020 में. ऑफ कोर्स दीज आर द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट रिवर्स, वन ऑफ द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट रिवर्स ऑफ दोज कॉन्टिनेंट्स. तो उनके बारे में ही हमें तैयारी करनी है अच्छी. ओके, यस, द नेक्स्ट. ओके, सो other physical features like straits, important straits, isthmus, enclosed seas, bays, gulfs. So all these locations, bays and gulfs. Okay, so जैसे Panama Isthmus is there or different straits are there. So many questions have been asked on the straits. Strait of Malacca is there, Strait of Gibraltar is there, Davis Strait is there. ये इस पे क्वेश्चन यूपीसी पूछ चुका है. तो आप जब ऑब्जर्व करोगे मैप, when you are observing the map reading, so you should be knowing about this, you should be reading about this. Then important lakes, next, important lakes and lakes on international borders or boundaries. Lakes located on international boundaries between countries, ऐसा यूपीसी ने क्वेश्चन पूछा हुआ है. So lakes are important, and within lakes also they will ask specifically which of them are located, like Lake Victoria is there, जो साउथ अफ्रीका में है, और Lake Superior and those great 5 great lakes of North America. So they form the boundary between US and Canada. Then other physical features, islands of Indian Ocean, Pacific Ocean, Atlantic Ocean. Important islands, their location in Indian Ocean, Pacific Ocean, Atlantic Ocean. three oceans. Okay, three oceans: Indian Ocean, Pacific and Atlantic Ocean. Then location of some countries, specifically European countries. European countries. Okay, so small countries are there, and UPSC has asked as a mapping part, these countries are having border with which other countries. Okay, especially UPSC has asked twice or thrice about Yugoslavia and the Balkan countries. Okay, so Yugoslavia, the earlier country, was disintegrated into small countries like Slovakia, Serbia, ये जो है ना वहाँ के छोटे छोटे कंट्रीज है, तो उनके बारे में यूपीएससी ने क्वेश्चन पूछा है बहुत बार मैपिंग पर्सपेक्टिव से.
Is there any issues or conflicts in small islands? There will be chance to ask master.
हाँ, वो करंट अफेयर्स का मैं अलग से बताऊंगा आपको, ठीक है, कैसे करना है. ओके, लोकेशन ऑफ वोल्केनिक माउंटेन्स, location of volcanic mountains, and in which countries or in which ocean they are located. Match the following type of question has been asked. Volcanic mountains. Then next, ocean currents, both warm, cold. Ocean currents. Next, local winds, specifically of Mediterranean Sea region, local winds of Mediterranean Sea region specifically. Then vegetation types, जैसे हमने इंडिया के वेजिटेशन टाइप्स, जैसे ही वर्ल्ड के वेजिटेशन डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन के बारे में बात होनी चाहिए, पता होना चाहिए आपको, राइट. सो विच आर द इक्वेटोरियल कंट्रीज, लाइक कॉन्गो बेसिन इज देयर, इंडोनेशिया और अमेजॉन बेसिन ऑफ ब्राजील. सो दे विल हैव द एवरग्रीन, ट्रॉपिकल एवरग्रीन फॉरेस्ट, राइट. सो यू शुड बी नोइंग अबाउट दिस वेजिटेशन डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन इन डिफरेंट कंट्रीज. उसका भी मैप आपको मिलेगा एटलास में. Okay, then important cities and countries located along, important cities and countries located along or near equator or along or near equator, comma, Tropic of Cancer, Tropic of Capricorn. Tropic of Cancer, Tropic of Capricorn. So this is very standard question of UPSC. Which of the following countries are located across the Tropic of Capricorn, Tropic of Cancer? Or Tropic of Cancer passes through which of the following countries? पहले तो यही करना चाहिए वर्ल्ड मैप लेके बैठ के, ठीक है, right? Then also about the longitudes, we will write down cities located along the same longitude, important cities located along the same longitude. So they will have same time, no? Longitude is the deciding factor for time. So these two cities or these countries will have same time zone. Important cities located along the same longitude, meridian. Then north, south and east, west locations of important cities. North, south and east, west locations of important cities. That means UPSC has asked, arrange the following cities from north to south, east to west. ठीक है, इंपॉर्टेंट सिटीज जैसे कैपिटल सिटीज होती है कोई भी कॉन्टिनेंट में, हम पहले वो देख लेने का, फिजिकल होने के बाद पॉलिटिकल जब हम पढ़ते First of all, capital cities of all these countries, their locations, from north to south, east to west. ऐसे पढ़ाई करनी है, right? Okay. Now, next is countries having boundaries with, write down, countries having boundaries with Mediterranean Sea, comma, Caspian Sea, comma, Adriatic Sea, Baltic Sea, South China Sea, okay. So these are the important we can say seas, or simply we can say they are always in news. जैसे अभी Caspian Sea news में है. Why Caspian Sea is in news? Anyone?
So one of the dam is conflicts between dam conflicts with there.
सर प्रेजेंटली तो नहीं आइडिया, कुछ दिन पहले तो उसमें था शायद कि उसको सी का स्टेटस दिया जाए, कि उसको लेक का स्टेटस दिया, उसके रशियन और उस पे डिस्प्यूट पे था कि उसको कितना कवर है.
Simply we should understand that this is adjoining area of Russia as well as Ukraine, and this Crimea peninsula is located there in Caspian Sea only, okay. And the present conflict that is going on between Ukraine and Russia, so वहीं पे तो हो रहा है सब, okay. So remember this again, UPSC can ask indirectly from geography perspective like this, कौन से countries वहाँ पे है, ठीक है, border.
Last in Azerbaijan gas field somewhere there. There was a blast in some Azerbaijan gas field in Turkmenistan, which was located somewhere in the Caspian Sea.
Yes, yes. तो वो भी एक कॉन्टेक्स्ट आप ले सकते हैं, ठीक है. तो कौन से कंट्रीज का बॉर्डर है, सो विच कंट्रीज आर हैविंग बॉर्डर विद कैस्पियन सी, 2-3 बार यूपीएससी ने पूछा है क्वेश्चन, ओके. यस. नाउ नेक्स्ट इज बायोडाइवर्सिटी हॉटस्पॉट्स, बट इंडिया का ही पूछा है यूपीएससी ने अभी तक. No, those are biodiversity, biosphere reserves. Biodiversity hotspots India में 4 है. We discussed that, right? So even which are these biodiversity hotspots of the world? So just go through any news we can say, or just Google it. But UPSC may not ask about the world. Okay, तो India के 4 जो है वो याद रखने हैं हमें. Then the important regions and the countries located in those regions and their capitals. I will mention those regions, you note down those regions, okay. First, Central Asia.
Sir, really important regions?
Important regions, their capital cities, okay, and their borders with each other. Central Asia, then West Asia or Middle East. West Asia or Middle East. Almost more than 5 times question has been asked from this Middle East or West Asia. Then next, North Africa. North Africa. Okay, so these are the regions which are always in conflict basically. वहाँ पे civil unrest होता है, या फिर कुछ तो हम बोल सकते हैं कि terrorist attacks and all these things are happening, and because of that the region is not having stability. Okay, so that we will say that, and recently India Central Asia cooperation is happening, and because of that also from geography perspective question can be asked in prelims again, right? So there were many meetings happened recent times with Central Asia. ठीक है, तो दैट्स वाई इट इज इंपॉर्टेंट अगेन. नेक्स्ट, इंपॉर्टेंट ओशन ट्रेंचेस, लोकेशन ऑफ इंपॉर्टेंट ओशन ट्रेंचेस. Okay, then from human geography perspective or political, let's say important port cities, important port cities,
Sir, human geography and
human geography, ठीक है, port cities, then next resources and their distribution, resources and their distribution, then industries and their locations, industries and their locations, okay, so this is fine. This was related to your world geography, and also let me tell you those places which are in news पिछले एक साल में, तो ये सारे में जोड़ देना है उसको. Okay, all the places which are in news you try to relate with, like Tonga volcanic eruption recently happened
near to Australia continent.
हाँ, are you aware about this?
Yes, sir.
कहाँ पे है वो?
In Pacific Ocean.
Pacific Ocean, right? Southern Pacific Ocean, and it is part of Pacific Rim of Fire, right? So there can be question about its location again. So you should be aware about these developments. वहाँ पे ये relate कर देना है, immediately atlas पे देखना है उसका location कहाँ पर है. Okay, waterfalls के बारे में लिखा है हमने, right? Yes. Now about India, important locations, mapping कैसे तैयार करना है इंडिया का. Yes, in terms of physical features, mountain ranges, both Himalayan and peninsular, Himalayan ranges, peninsular ranges, northeastern hills. यहाँ पे कैसे तैयार करना है? नॉर्थ साउथ हिमालयस, हिमालयन माउंटेन्स you need to prepare in very detail. Every year UPSC will ask question on mapping related to Himalayas. Okay, so north south orientation कैसे है ये mountain parallel ranges का, right? And along with that mountain passes are located, mountain peaks, glaciers, ये सारी चीजें करनी है वहाँ पर. Okay, then peninsular mountains and these mountain ranges, eastern ghats, western ghats, Vindhyas, Aravalis, central highlands, वो सारी चीजें आएगी. And northeastern hills also separately you can prepare. Then plateaus, especially in peninsular plateau there is again a division, different type plateaus like Deccan Plateau, Karnataka Plateau, Ranchi Plateau, or we can say Chota Nagpur Plateau is there. So उनके features, locations आपको पता होने चाहिए. Then important rivers, you prepare rivers separately for Himalayan region and peninsular region. And some rivers will emerge from peninsular region and they will drain into North Indian plains. Some of the rivers like Chambal, Ken, Betwa, Son river, so they will drain into these Himalayan rivers. तो वो भी आपको पता होना चाहिए. Tributaries. So important river systems of Himalaya and Peninsula. So there is separate chapter in NCERT. You locate all these rivers on the maps. And north-south orientation. जैसे यूपीएससी ने पूछा है वैसे ही हमें तैयारी करनी है, राइट? नॉर्थ साउथ ओरिएंटेशन और ईस्ट वेस्ट ओरिएंटेशन इफ इट इज देयर, likewise. So from origin to draining into which ocean and flowing through which states, whether the particular river is longest, shortest, ये attributes तैयार करने हैं हमें. हिमालयन रिवर्स में longest कौन सा है, पेनिनसुलर रिवर्स में longest कौन सा है, लार्जेस्ट एंड लॉन्गेस्ट दोनों में डिफरेंस होता है, राइट. देन नेक्स्ट lakes of India. In that separately you can prepare now fresh water, salt water. Okay, fresh water, salt water, natural lakes, man-made lakes. Some of the lakes are located along the path of the river. Some of the lakes are located along the path of the river or confluence of the river. So you should be knowing about that. Once there was question related to this, and we can say that the next part is wetlands. Wetlands of India. Okay, so important wetlands are at least Ramsar site. If the particular wetland site is Ramsar site, so you cover all those Ramsar site. Mapping part. Then when we are talking about peninsular rivers, specifically you should be knowing about east flowing and west flowing rivers. Separately prepare like this: east flowing rivers, west flowing rivers, and their properties, characteristics. Then important dams, hydro projects, multi-purpose projects.
So
Important dams, hydro projects, hydroelectricity projects, and multi-purpose projects. Across which river and in which state they are located, and which name of the reservoir they are creating. ये सारा वहीं पे देख लेना है, उसी पार्ट में. Okay, many questions have been asked on this. Then basic features like size and location, 8 dash line, or we can say that 8 degree channel, 9 degree channel, 10 degree channel. So we have covered this already, but again you can do this as a mapping part. Now states, which are the states having the coastline? Which are the states having the coastline? Then waterfalls and rivers. Waterfalls and rivers, आप उस river वाले में ही ऐड कर सकते हैं वो, ठीक है. Now from human geography perspective, location of thermal power plants and nuclear power plants. Location of thermal and nuclear power plants, important power plants we can say. Then next, major ports of India. Major ports of India, their location. Again north south, whether on eastern coast, whether on western coast, ये सारी चीजें तैयार करनी है. Then the resource distribution in India, different resources, where the particular resource like coal, largest producer state wise you have to prepare. And important mines in the country. So whether it is iron and ore or coal fields, aluminium field, or bauxite we can say aluminium के लिए, right? So important mines. Then important industries and the places and states. like iron and steel industry, aluminum industry, IT industry, ये सारे important industries एटलीस्ट जो NCERT में दिया है वो कवर करो. Then important highways, railway headquarters, different regions. Indian railways have been divided into different regions, right? Different headquarters are there for Northeast India, North India, South India, East India. Different headquarters locations are there. Now, specifically, you should prepare mapping of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh and Union Territories of India. They have even asked the locations of districts of Jammu and Kashmir. 1, 2, 3, 4, they have given the map and they have asked which are these districts or locations. Okay, so they have also asked last year about the Siachen glacier. So that's why, and again it is in news always, so usko specific karo aur zyada. Pondicherry and other jo union territories hai. Pondicherry is having 4 different territories, जो कर्नाटका में भी है और तमिलनाडु में भी है, right? Yes. So once there was question about that also, mapping part. Okay, so just remember that you prepare all these locations here. Yes, now talking about rainfall distribution, crop distributions, which type of crops are grown in which areas, rainfall distribution, vegetation types in India, their distribution.
Rainfall distribution, crop distribution, all those?
Vegetation type. Now, talking about the size again, the location of states. Yes, so which of the following states or cities located across or near the Tropic of Cancer? ठीक है, ऐसा पूछा गया है. Number of states passing through the Tropic of Cancer passes through number of states. Also, there was question which of the following cities nearest to the Tropic of Cancer? ऐसे भी क्वेश्चन था. Okay, so again, the more you observe the map of India, again that will bring more clarity here. Then functional classification of town, I was talking about that. Location of different towns, important towns, they can be the cantonments, they can be the religious places, cultural or heritage places. Okay, temple towns are there in different parts of the country, their locations. Industrial towns are there. Okay, at least, and again state capitals, their location, north, south, east, west. दामोदर वैली कॉरपोरेशन स्पेसिफिकली मल्टीपर्पज प्रोजेक्ट्स में आपको मैं 2-3 एग्जांपल देता हूं. भाखरा नांगल प्रोजेक्ट जो शुरुआत में हमने लिखा है ना, मल्टीपर्पज प्रोजेक्ट्स, हाइड्रो इलेक्ट्रिसिटी प्रोजेक्ट्स एंड मल्टीपर्पज. सो भाखरा नांगल इज इंपॉर्टेंट, देन तेहरी डैम इज इंपॉर्टेंट, एंड देन DVC, दामोदर वैली कॉरपोरेशन इज इंपॉर्टेंट. Okay, which are the 4 dams which are built as a part of DVC? जो तिलैया, पांचेट, वो जो dams है वहाँ पे, right? So you prepare them.
Damodar Valley Corporation, above you said to.
Yes, Tehri Dam.
Tehri
Dam, Uttarakhand, and this Bhakra Nangal across Satluj River. Then Sardar Sarovar project, one more multi-purpose. You in detail prepare about these multi-purpose project, because largely the question may be asked about them. Okay, now industries and places we have covered this, right? Highways covered.
So is there any chance to?
Now states bordering with each other. Okay, so again very minute level of observation is required. Like, so Maharashtra state is having border with which other states? Okay, so there was one question about UP state, Uttar Pradesh. Okay, so likewise you have to have the minute keen observation of these boundaries. ठीक है, तो सारे states का नॉर्थ ईस्ट का भी, ठीक है, तो वो तैयार करके रखिए आप. Then talking about the cultural and social aspect, regional languages and their regions, different types of, let's say, linguistic families are there, like Sino-Tibetan or Indo-Australian, Austrian family is there, or we can say that Dravidian family of languages is there. This is given in NCERT. Then tribes, racial classification of the tribes, okay, and tribes of Andaman and Nicobar specifically you need to prepare, and primitive tribes, like there is sub classification within the tribes, so they are more backward among the tribes. Okay, important towns and rivers along we can say banks of which rivers they are located. जैसे match the following पे question आया था. So important towns, cultural places and along which rivers they are located. Important centers of handicraft. इम्पोर्टेंट सेंटर्स ऑफ हैंडीक्राफ्ट, जैसे कुछ दिन पहले जो है टॉयज का इंडस्ट्री न्यूज़ में था, और प्राइम मिनिस्टर वाज टॉकिंग अबाउट द टॉयज इंडस्ट्री स्पेशली इन सदर्न स्टेट्स. दे आर ही वाज टॉकिंग अबाउट प्रमोटिंग टॉयज इंडस्ट्री. ठीक है, तो कौन से स्पेसिफिक सिटीज़ है, टाउन्स है, टॉयज टाउन्स बोलते हैं उनको. दे आर वेरी मच फेमस फॉर हैंडीक्राफ्ट्स एंड दिस टॉयज. Okay, so yes, this was about Indian geography.
So is there any chance to UNESCO identify?
So main thing, yes, I was talking about that environment section. From environment section specifically, you should prepare biosphere reserves, national parks, tiger reserves, biosphere reserves, and within biosphere reserve those included in the world network of biosphere reserves of UNESCO, national parks, tiger reserves and important wildlife sanctuaries, because all wildlife sanctuaries you will not be able to cover. More than 500 wildlife sanctuaries are there. So in today's lecture itself we have revised 52 टाइगर रिजर्व्स ऑफ इंडिया. ठीक है, ये द हिंदू एनालिसिस में 7 कोसिया टाइगर रिजर्व न्यूज़ में था आज. सो वी रिवाइज्ड अगेन ऑल 52 देयर लोकेशन स्टेट वाइज. ओके, so again it is very important. National parks important. And some of the wildlife sanctuaries dedicated for conservation and protection of particular species. Like last to last year, what was question asked? Which of the following are the protected areas for musk deer? ये था ना क्वेश्चन. और उसमें क्या था? एस्कॉट वाइल्ड लाइफ सेंचुरी एंड गंगोत्री वाइल्ड लाइफ सेंचुरी इन उत्तराखंड. that is the habitat of musk deer. Okay, they are specifically for the protection of musk deer. तो ऐसा कुछ स्पेसिफिक होता है तो आपको तैयार करके रखना है. ओके